Okay. Okay, so I brought up here the data set of the week, which was the Raleigh, North Carolina building permits, which was kind of cool. Particularly excited about the fact that it was our first Plotly meetup in Raleigh on Wednesday, which went very well. They built some graphs for this. I don't know if they posted it yet, but they built some. And on the same day, we had a Plotly meetup in Toronto as well. So I'm actually going to talk to the meetup coordinators later today around after this session to see how it went and uh, and plan the July meetups in those cities. So that's kind of cool. That Plotly's expanding its community outreach. Did I see Mike Bertel? You put a graph down here for the buildings permit.
Yes, I'd be happy to demo it. I got it all up and loaded.
Oh, let me allow you to share screen. I'll just say that for those who are watching us, this is the building permit. You can actually go to this link right here. I'll put it in the comment section. Link to Figure Friday post of the week. Okay. And people can see the data here. If you look at the data set, which we'll just review in a second, it has a bunch of different columns, but the main ones are, it's kind of hard to see when it's not an Excel sheet. Let's see if I can zoom in here. But the permit class, it has the fees. It's hard to see here. The price paid. I'll probably open an Excel sheet. It'll be easier to see later. Let's see if I can do that right now, so people can see what. Actually, I think I have it here. Here we go. So we have the permit ID and the type, the class it is, the date of application, the date it was issued, the permit was issued. So there usually is some space there, and then a few other things like what part of Raleigh. And here we had a simple graph that just showed us the fee paid according to by per permit, right? So we can dig into it and see why fees are certain fees are higher than others. Pretty good graphs were created this week and apps by people. But I'm going to let you, Mike Bertel, talk first.
Okay.
I'm going to stop share so you can share.
Okay, share screen. Let's see. Can you see me, Adam?
I
Everybody?
see you. I don't see your screen yet.
Oh, yeah, I see. Oh, yeah, okay. Let's try.
Hi, Alex.
I want the entire screen. Hi, Alex. Long time no see. Where's the share? Oh.
Hello, everyone.
Okay. This. Okay, maybe how it works. Can you see
loading. Yeah, we see the whole screen. We see everything.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. So let me say a few things. I'm still kind of new at dashboards, and so I'm at the phase where every week it's the best dashboard I ever created because I add the new things I've learned to it. And I had an app like this a few weeks back where on the left side is a -AG grid. I made it just a single column list of zip codes, and when I click on a zip code, it highlights the construction permits in that zip code only. They're actually spread out more than you would expect for being within one zip code because the column in the dataset says original zip code. I'm not sure what that means, but you get the idea. This is just a selector for any of the various map styles that are offered in Scatter Map Libre. That's pretty cool.
That's cool that you allow the user to change the map layout because for some people, they don't want to see all the, like this, some people are interested in seeing satellite view and parks and greenery. Some people want to see more of the roads to identify where the section is.
Yeah, like this is an example. and you can zoom in. But a couple of things that were interesting here. So I learned from Adam's 6-part video training series that I can hover on a point and information. And so when I hover on something, the table on the right gets updated with the information for that specific point on the scatter map. And Adam, you had a good suggestion also to use opacity, and I did that. And I spent a lot of time getting these columns properly aligned and presented better than I have done in the past. They're not perfect, but it's working quite good. And a couple things I did that I've never done before. When I first made this map, what would happen is if I zoom in on the zip code and then hover on the point, it updates the table, but it updates the whole graph, and then it zooms back to the original setting. So that was kind of annoying, and I learned how to fix it by using a double callback. So one callback manages, this one updates the map only based on the selected zip code and the map type, and the second callback updates the info table. So I never update the map just because I'm hovering on a point.
Nice.
The table. That was pretty cool. One thing I was experimenting with, I didn't get so far in it, but you can see on my callback for the, where am I? The input parameter for callback number 1, which is based on the zip code. Right now it's set to just update on a cell click. It works with cell double clicked as well. The one thing I wish it would do, and maybe it does it, I just don't know I'm doing enough, but let's say I click on the zip code, and you can see I'm clicked on 27529. If I just down arrow to these other zip codes, I think that state would be called cell selected or something like that, but my wish would be that I could actually have the update done without clicking on the cell, but just moving this.
Just with your keyboard. Is this you just using one column in -AG grid?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Nice. Yeah, I think that should be possible. I need to read the docs again.
I'll look through it as well. And I've experimented with Bootstrap components, and now I'm mostly using Mantine. Is it Mantine or Mantine, by the way?
I don't know. I hear both.
You hear both. Okay. There may be better ways to do this that I don't know, but I've tried. Obviously there's too many zip codes to have radio buttons. The pull down gets a bit unwieldy when there's a lot of choices to it. This approach I have for zip code, I don't think there's a way to select multiple ones, so it's pick one only. And so that's about it. I mean, it's pretty simple. I confess that I make this stuff as much to enhance my learning and think about how I would use it in my day-to-day work. But this is kind of cool. I don't know Raleigh very well, but if this was my neighborhood, I'd be looking at all the houses in the vicinity of mine and what's going on. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I really liked how you added that feature, the hover data feature, and it does it so quickly. You don't even have to wait.
I learned it from you, Adam. I mean, I didn't even know it was possible. Just a point about that, and of course, you know this, Adam. The data structure that comes back from the hover takes a little bit of parsing through, and I can show you what that is. It's one line of code right here. No, where is it? It's here. So I look for the selected ID in the hover data. The hover data comes back as a dictionary embedded in a list of one element. Okay. So the first thing you have to do is get the data points out, take element 0 of the list, and then it's a dictionary. I take the custom data field, and the first element of that, because of the way I set my hover data, is the selected ID. That was a very fun interactive experience learning how to do this, but it really comes down to it's one line of code. It's really not that bad and not that hard, but I really enjoyed that. I wouldn't have known to do that if it weren't for you, so I really appreciate that, and your videos are valuable and appreciated.
Thank you, Mike. Why did you end up choosing one column -AG grid for the options instead of the drop down?
Okay, the reason is I like the ease of selection. And the other thing is I envision a user experience, which, maybe I make the wrong assumptions,
Yeah.
but like the map style is a user drop down with many values. And I assume somebody using this would probably say, you know what, I just like the OpenStreetMap. So I'll choose that option when I bring up the app and probably just leave it alone for the rest of the session
Yeah.
while I'm hopping from zip code to zip code. So this is a nice, easy way. I mean, at this level, it's a single click. And so you could have a single click radio button, but that's too unwieldy in my view. And for a pull down menu, you have to open the menu up first before you click something. So it's, you know, saving one little click of your finger is, it seems ridiculous, but it matters, right?
Yeah.
And one last trick I did on here was the way this is arranged from left to right, there's not much verticality in it. I realized that I should take the legend from being on the side and put it on the top. And then the legend label interfered with my plot label. And I realized, you know what, just get rid of the plot label and make this is the legend label and then the selection. So this is kind of a legend as a title of the plot.
Nice.
That makes
I
sense.
like it. Yeah. Alex, Mike, do you guys have any questions or comments for Mike Bertel?
I don't know, just interesting, very interesting viewpoints. And I like that AG grid use of that. Definitely, it's like a scroll bar.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. So
Very nice, very
I-
interesting use.
I do a lot of work with measurement data, and I have to loop through, many tests to see what's going on. So far, this is the best interface that I would be using in my regular work. And let me see if I can get it even better by having it just fire off when the cell is selected.
I really like it, Mike. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Alex.
Okay, perfect. I really like it what you build. One thing that I would do is the map bigger, because for me the
Yeah.
map is the main story is there in the map. So I would do it bigger. The idea of the I am not a huge fan for the table, but the idea in this case is really good. I like it.
Yeah.
I like it because highlight exactly as you say the zip code that is important. For instance, I was thinking about imagine this type of application for a realtor, for instance. It's very useful if you are a businessman and a realtor. You want to see exactly what is the location of the neighborhood, for instance. It's really
Yes.
cool.
So I was inspired by my wife, who is into real estate, and she knows every zip code in my city. And I'm often asked, like, what zip code some places in by my wife, and the answer is usually I have no freaking idea. I don't really pay much attention to zip codes my own, but yeah, real estate people know the zip codes of a city quite well.
Yeah, I would also agree with Alex. I think you use DMC here, Mountain Components, and I think you put each section in like 3 columns. Is that right?
Yes.
Or 4 columns. Well, it might be even nicer to maybe that the table on the left, right? You can probably even put it in 2 columns. It'll still fit without giving you any issue. And if you put that in 2 columns, then the map can have 1 additional column, which is like what Alex said, like the main focus of your app.
Yep. You know what? I agree with all those suggestions very much wholeheartedly. The first time I posted this, I kind of had just gotten it working, and then I had a lot of improvements to it, but there's always more to be done. And yeah, a bigger map is definitely a good idea. There's probably some things I could do also to maybe change the zoom level, because when I started, I was focused on all of the zip codes in the area.
Yeah.
And I could use a tighter zoom as well. But yeah, tweaking the map size and the zoom level and all those things are And I still got to improve my table formatting, column widths.
Why?
I,
What's
I
wrong? What's wrong with the table, Mike? I can't see.
okay. Well, like this first column in the information table is cut off a little bit, so making that wider, getting the alignment right. The other cute thing I did was I created a table of zip code information that shows up when you change the zip code. Um, and that was just by using reading it in from an external file called dfzip and then just joining it to my data frame during its creation. Um,
Okay.
but yeah, those are all good comments. And I'm going to keep working on this style of dashboard. I'll be using this for measurement data where I work, but I'm getting close to something that I think would be really cool.
Okay. Well done, Mike.
Yeah,
Well done, Mike.
I'm happy.
Really good.
I'm really happy with it, and I'll tell you what, I just enjoyed the heck out of making this. I mean, I
Good.
can convey that.
That's the most important part. That you're enjoying the process of making it. I'm glad.
Yeah.
Exactly. Enjoy the ride.
Enjoy the ride. Yes, yes. I mean, I think we all do, right? We wouldn't be here on this call if we weren't having fun doing it, right? So.
All right. What about you, Mike? Do you have any graph or app that you presented, or you're mostly observing today?
I put it on just earlier today on Pi Cafe. I have it locally. It's really simple, of course, but for me, as Mike says, it's my best yet, I think, too. It's pretty simple. Let me see. Should I present or is it?
Yeah, you can
Sure.
present.
I just stopped sharing. So
Okay. Here, share screen. Share screen and select the entire screen. Allow. I guess we'll just look at it here. I guess. Can you see it?
Yeah, we can see
This
it.
is just
Yes.
running. This is just running locally. So it's very simple.
Okay.
Just two types. Project. I started with the histogram of the amounts. I wanted to see what are the project amounts, in certain buckets, but it didn't turn out to be too interesting. They were all in the first bucket, the smallest amount, and then the rest of them were just tiny, tiny short columns. Didn't work out well. I needed a different graph for that. So I ended up going with just two types, project types and contractors. Under project types, I have residential and non-residential. And it looks okay, I think. Just pretty simple, basic, nothing fancy, just your
So
types
just
of
the
projects.
number of permits per project.
Yes.
Okay.
Type of project, and then alterations here. We got 579, townhouse, we got 343, and so on. So nothing fancy or too interesting, but just basic chart. Residential and then non-residential. So one radio button here.
So much more residential than non-residential.
Well, actually, it's a little deceiving. Here we got residential alterations, repairs, 579. Non-residential looks like a lot more, 372. So there's the x-axis is different. That's all. It just changed. The x-axis is smaller. But it's like I said, my goal with this is just to get some result and practice little things each time.
Yeah.
And so as you can see, this time I practiced, I did the tabs so that I can save space and put it into a tabs, because I've seen people do that, like 4 tabs we've seen last week, actually.
Yeah.
For the different types of projects. And the same thing with top contractors, residential and non-residential, a bubble chart. We're looking at residential here. Here we have homestead building, 5 contracts, average contract price $993,000, total contracts 4 million or 5 million. So I just put this is by average over here, but I do have a total in the pop-up. Number of contracts, average, and total in the pop-up.
But I can't see. This is the average. The x-axis is number of contracts, and the average of what does it say on the?
Average
price?
contract price. So I just took the total of their contracts in dollar amounts and divided it by the number of contracts. The mean.
Nice.
That's all.
Yeah.
Nothing. And I didn't get too much out of this, except for this was interesting. Lennar is a big builder. Dr. Horton, a big builder. This I don't know, NVR. And Pulte, a big builder. And KB Homes, a big builder. These are nationwide builders, 1, 2, 3, 4. And these two I don't know, so maybe they're local. So it gives you a little information of where the big players, nationwide players, are in the Raleigh region a little bit.
Yeah. And they're like the most, I would say, solid in the sense that, and probably also the biggest, because you can see how they have more than 40, 50 contracts, and despite having so many contracts, still their average price is around, what is that, $100,000?
300,000.
Yeah, so $300,000. Where you take
300,000.
But if you take like the first couple of markers, those between 0 and 10 contracts, you have an average price there of 500,000, $1 million. But again, it's only 0 to 10 contracts. So if it's a company with 5 contracts and it's like $1 million, great. I'm happy for them. But their income is based on very few contracts, very few clients. So it's a lot more volatile, right? It's a lot more dangerous, a lot more risky. With these bigger companies that have like 40, 50, 60 contracts with an average price of 300,000, they're well established.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And we know the average custom home in Raleigh region is about $826,000. Just maybe by the name of this company, Raleigh Custom Homes.
And that's
they have 12 contracts.
Could you all hear me just fine?
Oh yeah, Tom, we can hear you.
This, not to interrupt you, this is really cool. I like the simplicity of it. And I was thinking through this, like, this is kind of what you'd expect with those, what I'd call cookie cutter track home builders, being like they got large volume, their price range will be on the lower end, versus on the left side of the scatter, you're getting more of those custom builders. I mean, one of them had something with custom in the name, right? So you're going to get like a different, more affluent price tag. Maybe they're, off the beaten path a little bit. They're going to build everything custom out, where on the right side, you got like a standard floor plan, maybe from some catalog, and they're going to build maybe 10 of them in a row,
So those on the right, you can't really do any custom building with them?
They probably have like some drop downs of like, oh, here's 3 different bathrooms you could choose from, and here's your kitchen sets that we have. And they have like these warehouses with all these products in stock, and then there's a little bit of modularity of like, hey, you could build this garage on this side of the house, or you could do a 2 or 1 side, but it's not like the custom where, hey, this custom builder is going to build out, they're going to build a pool, they're going to build a detached garage with a nice awning, like all kinds of different. It's really just, hey, we're gonna go to one place that's gonna do all the design and the blueprint, and then we're gonna give it to this custom builder. Versus where I think these KB Homes and Pulte, in my experience, even across the nation, you see that they have like a catalog, and then they're gonna do these track homes of like 300 homes or something,
Okay.
And they have the model homes where they'll build out the first set of the track, and it'll show like the different standard builds of the home that will be in the whole track. And then the people that are prospecting to buy in that new track home neighborhood, they'll go visit the model homes that were built first and say, well, I like this version of the model home. Where will these be at in the track? And then they'll kind of pick what layouts they want.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
But I was kind of surprised to see that the volume of repairs in there, or whatever that ambiguous title for those permits were, because, like, I don't know how many people are going to get a permit for a repair,
Where can we see here the repair? Are you talking about this graph?
Yeah, there was something on there that said, and it's in the data, like the alterations and repairs in the other chart or the other tab. Yeah, alteration repairs.
Oh,
ambiguous. Yeah, it's a catch-all, I think.
Yeah, I think so too. I'm curious about the details there. Like who's doing permits for repairs?
In this case, then another.
Sometimes you have to.
What do you mean, Mike Bertel? What do you mean?
What's like electrical box or something, maybe?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I have a San Jose, and many things you have to get a permit for. I have to get a permit to trim my trees. I mean, it depends on
Yeah.
your city government, but
Cut your trees. Oh,
Jeez.
Yes.
so this could be like you said. Instead of the category other, it'll just be alterations and repairs.
So this is where if I had more time and if I had thought of that, then it would be appropriate to have another graph, maybe with choose another column in the database in the CSV, and maybe see if you can't figure, because there were some others with more description,
Yeah.
much more descriptive columns, and then that would have been good to see what they were to break it out more. That's a good idea.
Yeah,
That's
we
a great
entertained doing a word cloud in person when we had the meetup about all that descriptive field that had all the more descriptions around the permit. But Adam, I had a question for you. Does Plotly offer that in the library? Any
No,
word
we
cloud?
don't have a word cloud chart,
Uh-huh.
or I guess you would just call it cloud, as part of the 100 and something charts that we offer. So it's not built in. I've done a video on it. I built a word cloud before. You just have to. It's not too difficult. You have to import a library, and then it's like 4 lines of code, and you have it. But we don't have it built in.
Yeah, I was gonna do that, but then I was like, well, let's just stick to the Plotly stuff. And then we built like a really simple map. They love the maps. They're like, oh, this is so cool in dark mode, and they love the maps. And I like them too. They're really cool. They're just so interactive,
You
Zooming
did a
in.
scatter map?
What's that?
A scatter map?
I think it was that we did dark mode, and what they really liked about it is like hovering over and seeing the card details, about like the value and the contractor. And I was really then enriching the conversation about because these are like prospecting students on the edge of graduation, and I was really encouraging them hey, do you see the market opportunity here? If you wanted to market this to say real estate agents or people that can see this activity going on, and then maybe want to market to these people because they know that, hey, they're more of an affluent purchaser. They're doing these upgrades to their house. Maybe they want to upgrade their mailbox or something. And there's a lot of marketing information in this open source government data because us as a populace, and all these permits is available to us. And that's probably untapped opportunities here.
That's a very good point. A very good business-like thinking. Mike, I agree with you. I think it would have been cool. I mean, it's just a matter of time, right? This is a very nice dash app that you created. But if you, right here, you could do similar to what Mike Bertel did. If you hover over the alterations and repairs, you would have, let's say, another graph to the right or table or whatever how you want to present the data. And anytime you hover over one of the y-axis project types, it will update that section on the right with more information specifically about alterations and repairs. Whether it's a word cloud or other things, it will just update it just by hovering it on it.
Yeah, I've seen the possibility of so many good colors.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I mean, I think an end user gets more engaged with an app like that. They hover on something and a graph appears based on it, or a table or whatever. I want to comment. This is really good. By the way, the dual panes, whatever, is on my list to do. I've never done that, but I can see so many good uses for it. On this issue of the bar chart, gets scaled differently for each selection. One remedy is to find out what the maximum value would be and just fix the x-axis range to what that value is. So when you go from one category to the other, the scaling maintains the same relative dimension to the width of the graph.
Yeah, 600 in the other one and 350, 400 in this one. You see the big difference, yeah.
Yep. So you could fix them all to 600 as the maximum end of the X range, and then it would be more
uniform, definitely.
Yeah,
I think it's just range _X equals, and then in a list you'll put 0, 600, and then you get it.
I'm not sure if that has to be in the the PX.
It's inside, it's inside Plotly Express.
Update. Oh, it is. Okay, not update layout.
Yeah, that specific attribute we have inside Plotly Express high level interface.
Yeah, that's very useful. It's very useful that you can auto scale as well. But
The one thing I did for this one, just the last few things, and then we'll let other people go. On the non-residential, I did decide to go take out this one, Evans General, because he had one contract for 80 million. It would have skewed this chart quite a bit higher. So I made a note on top rather than included. It's just, it would.
Was that a warehouse or something? That's pretty substantial.
80 million.
Yeah.
That's a backyard treehouse, that's for sure.
So, and then the only other things I added were I used Font Awesome. It's small here. I wanted to make them bigger. I put a little clipboard here for the projects, a Font Awesome, and then a little hard helmet here. I like the Font Awesome icon set. Yeah. And the background, I found a little pic to put in the construction. In the background.
Oh, I thought that was your Windows background. You put that in there.
No, that's a house being built.
That's very nice.
Really nice.
Very good job.
So, Mike, if you had more time, which is always an issue with Figure Fighter, right? There's only so much you can do. What would you do if you had another 2 hours to dedicate to it? How would you change? Would you add anything to it?
Something with the map, like Mike did. That would be cool because they have real good geo coordinates. But I haven't done anything with maps yet, so I was hesitant to go into that direction first. I figured let's do something basic, get something going, and then maybe a map later. So that's something I would have. But there was so many other possible statistics. I made a list. I don't remember all of them, but there was a lot of columns of information, valuable information. Many ways to sort things, and then as you explore the column of data, you could find you'll see different ways to go down that path.
All right, thank you so much, Mike.
Really good, Mike. Really good.
Very good.
Thank you.
The first time I started was that as you are doing that, using tabs is the way to go. Using tabs is the way to go.
Yeah. Tabs give you a lot of flexibility. Tom, is there anything that you would like to share with? You already shared a lot about the meetup that you had and what they built. Do you know if the meetup participants had a chance to post something on the forum or on Discord?
No, I don't think so. I did emphasize that quite a bit as to get out there and engage with the community is like a really good way to learn. You learn all the nice tips and tricks in these discussions as well. But other than that stuff, I put on Pi Cafe, which is now kind of messed up because we were editing a lot, and that was the first introduction they had to Pi Cafe. They didn't know that those resources existed as well. The participants that showed up were heavily in like computer science, and one of them was leaning more into the like algorithmic data sciences and things like that. So this is kind of on the periphery of what their knowledge base was, but it did seem, Adam, that this is like they attend these meetups as like a networking event and kind of to get exposure to the community in the fields that they're going to school for.
Okay.
So they were really impressed by, like, they didn't know that these tools existed and that there was these open source libraries like Plotly where you could build amazing, beautiful, I even say like artistic looking dashboards. And then I was sharing them like the Figure Friday, and I said, look at all this inspirational work that these people do for free. And you can plug and play with some of this stuff. They're giving you this stuff for free. You can use it as templates. You can gain inspiration from it. And then I encourage them to like share on social media. Plotly often will repost some things that you put on there.
Exactly.
And this is all like coming full circle about these people are prospecting for jobs. One of them was like on a student visa. You could imagine all the stress and anxiety around that right now. And they're trying to get big companies. One was like applying for Microsoft, and I was just really encouraging them to get involved with the community, share what they're building, right? Because this stuff gets a lot of attention online, and then it also is a way to showcase your work without using your proprietary company data or school data. It's like there's all this open source information out there that you don't need proprietary information for, and that's recruiters can see that this person knows how to do what they say is on their resume.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. It's like a resume builder. Like we had one of the our community members, Sebastian from France. He would build like 10 different apps for Figure Fridays, and then he put everything on one website on his own webpage. And then recruiters would just see that, and that's probably when they got the job.
It's amazing. I mean, if you, for example, the construction stuff, right? If you go to a custom kitchen builder or a remodeler, what's their background on that website going to be? It's going to be like a kitchen that they built. It's like, go to all these custom builders. When you go to their websites, the first thing you see is them showcasing their work, you know?
Right.
And I think it's no different for what you guys do. And what we do is just, and I love that idea, Adam, about building your own custom website. If I was prospecting for a job or doing something on the side, you know, as like maybe a side business that I'm trying to grow, I would definitely post some of my best work from here, and like showcase, hey, here's a cool Dash app I could do for manufacturing or for supply chain and predictive modeling. Here's all the cool cards and the, you know, like the way to showcase data in a certain way. And a lot of small businesses, they don't know about this stuff, right? They're trying to like, they're intimidated by a Power BI enterprise license. And it's like, don't go there if you're a small business, right? You don't need to pay a big out-of-pocket expense if you're going to use, you know, a couple charts on Power BI. So they're just not aware of this kind of stuff. And I think there's a big opportunity, untapped market out there of a lot of personal small businesses that could really utilize these kind of tools.
Absolutely.
I agree.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Tom. All right, we have Alex.
How many people participate on Raleigh?
Yeah, it was our first meetup. So I always had discount, like, you know, we're trying to get the game theory going. And we only had 2 people, but we had 12 people, 13 including me, 12 people signed up. Here's the thing, though. We had a really bad thunderstorm roll in like 30 minutes and then 30 minutes after the start time. So it was just not conducive to, if you were on the fence of doing something extracurricular like this, you got talked out of it when that storm rolled through. It was a violent storm, and it's downtown too. So you're probably gonna have to walk to the building from a couple blocks away. So it was just, it wasn't like the stars didn't align for us.
When I have Plotly New York City meetups, and let's say I have 20 people that register or 25, I'll get, if it's a nice day, I'll get like 6-7 people. If it's stormy, I'll get 1, maybe 2.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's happened. It's challenging. It's happened.
It's a shame because the event space was amazing, Adam. It was like really cool. It was kind of like I've never been to a WeWork, but it was probably more hospitable, or like very, very welcoming and warm. There was people that worked there every day. They kind of had this camaraderie, and it was like the fridge was open for use. They had a coffee on tap. Like, it was really, really cool. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, we'll use it again.
Thanks.
Alex, do you want to show us what you built?
Okay. I'm going to share my screen. Yes.
You want me to share, or you're going to share?
I'm going to share.
Okay.
Okay. Can you see it? No.
No, not yet.
Not yet. Okay.
Okay, we see the screen. Do you want to change tabs so we don't see each other?
Okay, let's see. Okay,
we see the code.
Okay, the app. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Perfect. Well, this time, as usual, I like it to use with this data after a lot of research, EDA. I decided to build an intelligent construction anomaly detector. I put a name to make fun. Well, basically here I use a predictive machine learning into uncovering construction irregularities.
Okay.
What I did, well, I use a machine learning technique called isolation forex, It's the second or the third time I have used. And based on the input on or all exploration what I did, I built this app. But first here we can see that we have a lot of the total project here in the bundle of cars, the name of the number of project, the anomaly detected about the projects, 45, the critical cases that require immediate attention, an average of anomaly cost, and the common type, basically. No, these cards are basically focused on the anomaly detection by the model. Well, here the main or the heart or the core of the app is where I select a drop down menu, all projects,
Yeah.
and we can see here the number of the project. In red are the project with some kind of anomaly, and in blue the project that are okay. This drop down menu here in the right on the right side, we have a detection sensitivity that if I play with him, is basically the percentage 2% is the total of anomaly detection that the model have in this case.
Yeah.
You can put 1% and you see the number of product, and you see that dynamically you will see the anomaly detectors at the critical case until 5%, where we can see the maximum number of anomaly detected, 111, and the critical cases and all the cards are dynamically updated. Okay, on the drop down menu, we can see all the project, but we can select here. I put exactly the anomaly, the old type, in this case the 45 project that have any kind of anomaly. Then you can here go from anomalies, all type the anomalies, and also you can only anomalies that are about cost, string cost. You can select and you can see here, if you hover up, you can see here exactly the type of the what is the project and a specificity about each project. Also, string time, approval, and every selection is updated here.
So Alex, you did
Uh-huh.
you calculated with random forest or machine learning. You calculated anomalies per type. So if you look at the drop down, you looked into all the columns and you said, okay, looking at costs, you didn't decide what there's an anomaly of cost, maybe too expensive or way too cheap, and approval, what's the average approval, and then you decided on what's, but is, let's take an example of approval. So if the average approval time is 4 weeks, would an anomaly be what, like 5 weeks or a lot more extreme?
Exactly. That's what the model does exactly. I select features based on the main feature, categorical feature, and numerical feature, and with the model, they select what are the ones, or in this case, that are very far from the median of this project. Based on that, I can label in this exactly as you say, string cost, string time, or rapid approval. Basically using the model. For instance, here, like if we go down here, I put I call investigation panel. What is the investigation panel? These have the 20 model around the 111 at the end of the day, the all anomalies. here we have the 20 most with most anomaly, the top 20. And here, for instance, as you say, rapid approval, suspicious rapid approval, unusual code for type, and you will see here, you can see how the anomaly analysis, the project cost, the cost deviation in this case, and in this case is review the approval process for potential irregularities. You have the investigation recommendation and verify all requires inspection and approval were completed. Normally, maybe this in this case here is another suspicious. Normally, it's not just one thing, Aaron. Maybe a group of things that the model select and classify as an anomaly, basically.
Okay.
Right? At the anomaly score here, for in this case, you can see, well, the first one may be suspicious rapid approval, but also that's unusual cost for type and critical anomaly. Critical anomaly score is the score that the model gave. Also here, is in investigation recommendation is like well, what need to be done? What is the alert? Well, review approval process for potential irregularity or verify all required inspection and approval were completed. In this case, obviously, I did all using this data, but maybe if we make a deeper analysis, we have better data and also and fine tune the model. But it's basically that, for instance, here that the model does. Critical string time, for instance, here, one project, and you can see new single, you can see the in this case, the description, the characteristics, and it's basically, well, it's basically, sorry.
592 days, I think, right?
Exactly.
Wow. Mm-hmm. All right, Alex, very cool. Wow, this is
very nice.
Thank you. Basically, of course, it's far from being perfect, but in this case, with this type of data, I think that is always looking for patterns using unsupervised learning. In this case, isolation forest. Maybe another technique also could be very useful, CBM, for instance. But in this case, unsupervised learning, to see exactly what is happening with this all this data, no? All these construction permit that allow you to build an app. In this case, useful. I don't know. Yeah. Any questions? You have any questions? Have any doubts?
Thank you, Alex. Guys, do you have any questions or comments?
No, this is really
cool work, Alex.
Yeah, good job.
Thank you.
I'm actually using Mike. Sorry, were you saying something?
I just say I'm really impressed by Alex's dashboard and all of the AI methods he uses to really extract interesting information that you don't get from just a raw basic plot.
Thank you. Thank you.
Alex, I was implementing something very similar for credit anomalies, or I'm exploring this for credit anomalies and customer credits and stuff. So, but I'm torn because the supervised learning does require a little bit more administrative burden. You know, someone's got to go in and intervene and to build that machine learning enrichment, but the unsupervised is the route I'm going with, and just because of the current needs and stuff. But there's a whole plethora of awesome stuff going on with that, and now like the AI is at the point where it could really help you understand what these things mean. But that was very beautiful work you did. I love looking at your work. It's just so aesthetically pleasing, and it was really cool to look at. Thank you.
Thank you. No, imagine. Thank you. As you say, Thomas, is interesting. Some guy, I don't know, who say that any model doesn't work, but they help, and it's true, because in this case, when you build something with this type of model, they have some pattern that you can found some insight that at the end of the day are very interesting, that you can see in other direction, and you can also use this type of pattern to later on make clusters and make some random forests, or this type of thing that at the end of the day help to enrich your data and also to take decision.
Yeah. Alex, thank you so much for sharing that and the code.
Imagine, thank you.
One of the biggest
Thank
advantages
you.
of having these apps that you all share is that people have access. I think Tom mentioned this as well. People have access to your code, so they can replicate it. They can take parts of it when they're building an app on a different data set. They can take
That's the idea.
Mike Bertel's interactivity between the hover and the table, just by copying that callback. So it's great material for future, and it's great learning opportunity. So thank you all for that.
Indeed.
All right, folks, that's pretty much it for this week's Figure Friday. We're about 7-8 minutes over. Next week, I just released this morning the Figure Friday week 26, which is going to be on. Why is it escaping me right now? It's on. The labor, the state of labor and employment in the world. There's 4 different data sets this time, but they're simple. They're short, simple data sets. But because they're so short and simple, I put 4 of them on there from the International Labor Organization. And so that's a pretty interesting data set to look at, especially there's a part on gender gap. You can compare it over time. And next week, we're going to have another data set that I'm working with a Plotly community member on. He's an expert in geology, I think, and he has data. This is unique. It's going to be unique data on drilling into the ground and trying to find salinity levels, how salty the water is in the ground. So that's going to be pretty interesting.
Like the Curiosity is doing on Mars right now. I think it's the rover, Perseverance rover is doing on Mars.
Yeah, exactly.
Something similar. Yeah. All right, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you very much.
You guys, bye.
Thank you. Have a nice weekend for everybody.
Bye.